Now we're going to move to a new segment of the podcast that I would like to call Panel Deep Dive. Or I don't know if I'm actually going to call it Panel Deep Dive because I'm not going to spend a very long time on these books, but I think it's worth noting. So this segment will be where I take two books that I've recently read and I'm going to go over some of the things that stood out to me, whether it's the art style, the characters, the way the paneling was done, the inking, the colors, the storytelling, just basically anything that I thought was pretty cool about these comics. And since I am reading comics all the time, thought I'd share some with you that you might not have heard about. So this first one is going to have two comics. One is a trade paperback. This one is called Behemoth by Tate Brombal and Nick Robles. See if that's in the frame. Alright. Behemoth. I got both of these books from the library. The only thing I really looked at about this book was I saw the name of the title. I had heard of it, recommended a long time ago. This came out in 2023. I saw the spine and I kind of glimpsed over the synopsis on the back of the book. It said something about nightmares and I was instantly sold because one of the things that I love to look at are books about nightmares. The other book is called Navigating with You by Jeremy Whitley Cassio Ribeiro, Nikki Fox Robot. This is a graphic novel. This is another book that I just saw the cover. I saw the side. I didn't know what it was about. I saw two girls and they were both into manga and something about friendship. So I was like, let me check it out. Sounds interesting enough. So let's start with Behemoth by Tate Brombal Nick Robles. I'll read the back of it. Grayson's world crumbles following his brother's mysterious death, with sleepless nights haunted by vivid nightmares of a terrifying monster pushing him to the brink of losing not just his job as a social worker, but his mind. Soon his newest case, an orphan girl named Ren, is found at the scene of a murder, and her connection to his dreams will send them both on a journey that Grayson could have never imagined. So once again, the reason I picked out this book was, one, I had heard about it from pop culture philosophers. Rock and Robbie Billups suggested it was a great book, but I waited for the trade paperback, which happened to show up at my library. Shout out to all the libraries that keep new comics, new trade paperbacks. That is some amazing stuff. What I liked about this book in particular, besides the storytelling, was the way they handled a character that was struggling with some sort of thing going on with his mind. I mean, beautiful use of color. I've been currently studying how to color comics because I'm trying to work on my one-shot. Beautiful use of color to emphasize the story. This wavy line that shows up is him struggling with this mental thing. Flashbacks are in blue, color. Got some glare, but hopefully you can see that really well. I think that this story sets up a hook very well. It pulls you right into the story. You immediately want to know what's going on, what's happening to the main character, Grayson. But what I really want to show you guys is how I loved how whenever something was going on with his head, the artist used, Nick always used these lines to indicate that this was in his head, this was happening to his head specifically. Just really graphic, really nicely designed. I really like that aesthetic, and it kind of gives me some ideas of how I could handle something like this. Beautiful 2-page spread. I'm not going to flip through the whole book. Okay, so this is another scene that I want to show, is that, again, the use of emphasizing that this character has something going on with his head, and the words, the lines, like, I just think it was really nicely done, and it's very clean, it's very effective. Nick also does some really good jobs with his panel layouts. You know, the panels breaking apart here, the crumbling, all very amazing stuff. This is a very good story. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I felt that the ending was a bit rushed, but all in all, great story. I think you guys should definitely check it out, even if it's just to get some inspiration on how they did the panel layouts, how they did the colors. Who did the colors? Doesn't say who did the colors, so I'm assuming Nick did the colors. But just great stuff, great story. Definitely check it out. This next story is a graphic novel, another graphic novel that I picked up from my local library, and I just happened to be checking out the shelves, and it just sounded interesting. So, Navigating with You by Jeremy Whitley Cassio Ribeiro. I'm sorry for butchering your name. Nikki Fox Robot. All right, Navigating with You. Nisha Sparks is a disabled vocal community activist with a passion for costume design. Gabby Gracinia is an optimistic surfer and, like Nisha, a new kid at school. When the two girls discover that they like the same manga series, Navigator Nozomi, they become more than just fellow new kids, but it was more than just having read the same book series. Neither of them had finished it. Soon they became new friends on a mission to track down the remaining Navigator Nozomi books. The slice of life romance follows the two girls as they adventure across North Carolina to find each book, with their story intercut by the tales of Navigator Nozomi. Nisha and Gabby find more than just the books. They find acceptance, friendship, and understanding and love. So, like I said, I did not read the back of the book. I literally just skimmed over it. I saw two girls. I saw that they were into manga and that they were trying to search for the books. I didn't even know that it was going to weave in another story at the same time. That probably would have taken away the fun of that I had reading this. But what I liked about this book is how it definitely, it lives up to the tale. It is a slice of life, but the way the story was written, it was so easy to get to know the characters, wonder what the deeper story was, and from that point just keep on going. It was just a great story. I like to I read from all genres. I don't discriminate when I read. If it looks interesting or has an interesting synopsis, interesting cover, characters, I like the art, I will check it out, because you never know what you're going to learn. And my takeaway from this book in particular is just, I like the simplicity of the style. I like, as I'm trying to find my own style and figure out what I want my style to look like, this book kind of tells me that I don't need to be as detailed as I think I need to be. I don't need my colors to be as complex as I think I need my colors to be. And that this story, slice of life or not, it can be told. Like, any story can be told. And I just needed that confirmation for myself. I really like the two girl characters. They basically were very different. They had the one similarity, which they liked this manga, but other than that, they are very night and day, but it works because they play off of each other. One call out, was I've seen technology done a couple different ways in graphic novels, comics, etc., manga, etc., but I really liked how they handled it here with just the square bubbles, the different colors, and it doesn't take away from the story. Like you could tell who was who and whatnot. Very good stuff. The other thing I liked about this comic was that, or this graphic novel, was that there was two stories within one book. So as they are just finding these old manga issues, they are reading them together, and you get to see like the story of what they're reading in the manga, and you get to see the difference between when you read something as a child and then now they're a little bit older. They see things completely different. How Gabby sees the situation within the manga and how Nisha sees the situation within the manga are two completely different ways. And I liked how it's a completely different change where they try to make it look like a manga. I thought it was a really nice little story, and it's only 7 or so pages. So it's pretty good in that regard. But as they find each manga, they read it and they talk about it because they start a manga book club about it. And of course, life is doing the life thing. Why I thought this story was worth sharing in the first place was mostly because of the story. The art is, take it or leave it. It's not for everyone. Maybe even the topic isn't necessarily for everyone, but I felt that the character development between the two girls, the parents, the sub story and the subtext that was being shared through the manga was really great. Like, I could not stop reading this book. I was very interested to see if they would find all the issues because there's only 7 issues in this manga. And there's a little twist at the end of it, which is really worth reading. So hopefully, if you have this at your local library, you can give it a try, or it might be on Hoopla, which is another website that basically allows you to borrow books. That's how I read a lot of my digital manga, my digital graphic novels, digital comics is Hoopla. So if you guys aren't using Hoopla, if you're not using your library, you're missing out because there's just so many great books in the world. But yeah, so definitely check out those books. Sorry, Navigating with You and Behold Behemoth. Even though these two are very different, I think it's great to show how different they are because it's a reminder to myself, it's a reminder to you that every story is worth telling. No matter if it's a slice of life story or if it's an epic dystopian fantasy horror, whatever you want to call it. I don't even know what genre this would be in. I guess it's got some horror elements in it, but it didn't go all the way. But regardless, these books are definitely worth checking out. If you guys have read either of these books, let me know in the comment section below. If you're interested in checking them out or you do eventually read them, let me know what you thought about them. Did you like it? Did you think the stories were great? Or are you even interested? Just let me know. I'm always down to talk about comics. I'm always reading. I'm always creating. Hopefully you guys got something from this segment. And until next time, make sure you're working on your comic. Those were the 2 comics. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll catch you guys next time.